Alright, so much has gone on here, huh? So I made a bottom for it. I put some pieces of tape on so I could know where its center was. That bottom piece, long ago I was going to glue on. Before I turned it, I realized, as you know, that I couldn't figure out how to turn it with that there. So plan B was to just say, the heck with it, I'll put the bottom on afterward. And then I realized that if I was going to do that, I could make the bottom round and then glue it on. Why isn't that coming off? I could make the bottom round and glue it on, and it wouldn't be hard to center it, and it would make the whole finishing process a lot simpler. I don't have to remount it on the lathe, blah, blah, blah. So, therefore, here we are. Now, this was just a pad for the clamps on the top. The tape was to just hold it in place so that I only have, the two hands. So that's done. And now, we are really close to an unveiling. And pull off some tape so I didn't get glue all over the bottom of it. Look at that. And ta-da! There it is. It's done. And it looks like I captured a little bit of tape right there. I'll cut that off. But I think I'm done. I'm pretty well sanded out. I think what I'm going to do today is get a first coat of lacquer on this. I think considering where we are, I'm going to brush it on the inside. So I want the inside. It's not going to hold water, I know that, but I'd like it to not ever stain or anything like that. And so a little bit of lacquer goes a long way. That's my thoughts on that. All right, there it is. So this is my big vase. And just for the heck of it, we'll do the numbers. It's 6 7/8 in diameter at the top. And it's about 5.5 at the bottom where the base is. It is 14 inches tall, and it is 13.5 inches deep. And that was a long ways in. And I'm glad it's over. And it looks great. I don't know how much you can see inside. That looks good. The base looks great. I think I'm going to go around it with some 400 sandpaper. 400. I'm going to go over the whole thing with some 400 real quickly, and then brush a coat of lacquer on it. So that first coat of lacquer has dried, and it performed really well. It sealed everything up nicely. Now it's time to do that other thing, which is get that surface knocked down. And this, I imagine, will be 5 coats before it really has that glow that I'm looking for. And I don't really care if lacquer, it'll set. It'll be fine. It's 5 coats, 5 days. I'm going to be brushing this on. I want to build it up. This I assume is going to get some heavy use, more than just setting on a shelf. So I'm hoping that I can get a good durable coat on it. That's what I'm looking for. Find a couple of tiny little dings where this landed on the floor and bounced around a little bit. What with the expert help that I had parting it off. Wasn't that a sight? It'll be a while before I let him live that down, in case anyone was wondering. Anyway, this, didn't ding up bad. A couple little teeny spots. Really have it all taken care of. I'm puzzled. Well, the first coat of lacquer must have largely been absorbed, because I'm getting little bits of colored dust off it, which means that I'm sanding through the lacquer and into some of the wood. That first coat probably just going to fill the pores, I guess, as we used to say. And now I'll sand the rest of this thing. It's a funny little built-up object. Sometimes you have to sand up and down, and sometimes you have to sand across. Typically, you don't have to worry too much as you're building up coats on something, because if things go right, at least by the second coat, you're sanding the finish that you're putting on, not the wood underneath. But here I am. See, this is showing maple colored dust. Yeah, all right. Okay, stacks. I've also got a little teeny bit, I don't know if you can see it, a little teeny bit of a haze, a burn from where the wheels of the steady rest was on that. I'm going to have to put a little extra effort into that. But all in all, I think that this will coat up pretty well. This is nice. I sanded the inside, it is not as critical, right? The stems. Anyway. Get this sanded, and take a look when I put the coat of lacquer on it. So I finished the sanding. It's a little disappointed with myself. I left some marks, and then, you know, lacquered over them. I don't know what, thinking that they'd go away. I don't know what I was thinking. They didn't. It had do a little more work than I thought. In my own defense, I didn't know how they were going to show up in the lacquer. Sometimes, you know, you put a coat of finish on something, and the little blems that you thought were a big deal just, you know, become lost in all of the extraordinary beauty of your work. Yeah, that didn't quite happen here. Some of the blems were still there. So anyway, I sanded a little bit more than I would have guessed, for a little bit longer than I would have imagined. But the coat of lacquer that I put on did a great job of sealing the wood. Because the sanding just, you know, it was smooth. It came out really well. I used 220 paper, you know, folded into little pieces as I do. It worked out real well. I'm really quite pleased. It's very smooth. So this coat will go on, and then it'll get sanded with probably 320, and then another coat will go on and get sanded with probably 400. Pardon me. And then another coat will go on, and then it'll be probably steel wool and wax. I mean, I was thinking maybe it was going to take 5, but I just had such a good smoothing experience over, you know, having to work way harder than I thought, but did well. Very smooth. There you go. That looks terrific. Looking for dry spots. Anyway, love it, love it. You know, I'm going to talk up how wonderful this is, but the variety of wood, it's not perfectly bland white maple. It's not just all brown heartwood maple. It's a mix of both with some streaking in it. I think it's just enough to work with the vertical lines of this thing. I'm really pleased with how this has come out. I'd like to take credit for all of it, but all I can say is I did it, and I'm pleased. And given the opportunity, I'd do it again, although there's so many things to do, and I'm not really bored yet. So I'll probably do something else before I come back to this project, or this kind of project. But you know, the tall vase is one of the things on the list, right? I mean, we all are familiar with the 10 turners list. So I got it. And then knock this one off. I mean, this is definitely takes that one off the list. It's great. All right, thanks for sticking with me. I'll probably let you see a couple more coats, and then we'll go home and do a show and tell. This is a home project, as you can imagine. Most of my top 10 projects are home projects. I'm thinking that now, anyway. All right, great. All right, see you, probably tomorrow. It'll be great. Well, this is dry. It's real nice. I mean, it's real nice. Starting to get that little teeny bit of the sense of depth to the shine, which is, pretty good. I don't really want it wicked shiny, but I want it to, be shiny enough. All right, so here's the thing. This cavity is deep, and it didn't draft because there's no airflow inside of a vase, or very little, and so the bottom of this is still a little bit wet. So I think, other than this edge, maybe down an inch or so, I'm going to leave the inside of this for another time, another day, but I'll get another coat on the outside, and like I say, in around the lip and in an inch or maybe two. And that'll put me in pretty good shape for one more coat after this. So I've got some 320 sandpaper. 320 is my, it's a pretty close to favorite sanding grit. In my local supplier, retailer, sort of stopped carrying it. So they thought, I don't know what, that it was too close to 400. Maybe they know something that I don't know, that they weren't selling it. And so that made no sense to take up space on their rack. It could be. They didn't ask me. You know how that goes. But 320 is, for me, it's great because it really it's sharp enough and enough coarse enough to actually get at the surface, so that my atmospheric dust, and in the case of this, the marks from the wet shellac on these wires, knocks right off. But I don't cut into the and I didn't mean shellac, I meant lacquer. But it knocks the stuff right off. It knocks the atmospheric dust right off. If I lost a bristle off the brush, it would knock that off. Prepares the surface beautifully for the next coat, which I'll then sand with 400 grit, and then that'll be the wax and steel wool and wax after that. So that's the drill. I'm going to, like I say, walk around this whole surface with the 320, and the whole thing will have a real nice matte finish. Now, the other thing that's going to happen with the 320 on top of a couple of coats of lacquer is I'll get very little, if any, wood. So this red wood is, producing white dust. Why? Because I'm really not sanding the wood anymore. I'm just sanding the lacquer. So there's that. I'll walk all the way around. We'll pop this up in the air a little bit. Do that. But I won't go inside because it's still, it's still a little bit wet. It's, a combination of it's cold, and it's cold. It's 50 degrees, and there's very little airflow. So the volatiles, they evaporate, but they're heavier than the air, so they just lay inside the chamber. I should have left it upside down, but then you run the risk of drips along the rim, and I so don't want that. But this is nice now because if you are at least careful, you can sand regardless of the grain direction and not leave scratches. Not leave permanent scratches. All right, that little bit of business is done. All sanded up. It is so smooth. I'm just so happy, really. And now I'm going to throw a little lacquer on the inside, down the ways, not very far. There's no point in making things worse. I've got wet lacquer and sanding dust in it. That whole drill. I mean, it's not awful. It's going to all come out. It's going to all come out, just not today. We'll get through it. I don't, and I'm sure you understand, I don't need anywhere near as much of a finish on the inside of this as I would like to have on the outside, right? This takes a special kind of person to worry about how shiny the inside of their vase is, right? Yeah. All right, so now another use for paste wax is as, an agent to lift things up out of the dust. Because I don't know if I've said this enough, but I've got dust everywhere in this shop. It's a thing. So start at the bottom, work my way up. Okay, I am heading toward a problem. Here we go. Super. All right, so it's about that. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. More sanding, another coat tomorrow. And then some wax and steel wool and take it home. Be great. So I've given this a sanding with 320 sandpaper. Came out real well. I managed the nice thing about putting it on with a brush is you get the lacquer on thick enough. We're talking thin, but still thick enough that you can get through any of the imperfections in the brushing. I left some streaks. I overbrushed in a couple of spots. The drill. I wish I had better technique. I'd instill you with great skills if I had, but I can't. I'm sloppy. I just keep moving. Anyway, with this it sanded out beautifully. Everything that I did wrong, that I could have done better, I've taken care of. It's smooth, consistent and smooth. I love it a lot. So now I think, to try to stop that brushing issue that I keep having, I think I'm going to spray the next coat on, which will probably be the last, could be the last coat. Anyway, so I'm going to do this in two different steps. I'm going to spray the inside, I'm going to flip it over, upside down on the board here, and and spray the bottom, the underside of the bottom. Give that one more coat. If you recall, I skipped it last time. So that'll take care of that, be done. Inside will be done. And later, before I leave the shop today, I'll flip it over and do the outside. The inside of the lip and the outside. So here we go. Little spray paint. And this is going to make a cloud. Who knows how this is going to work out, right? Oh, that's nice. Oh, what a steamy mess. I'll take her all the little scratches that I put in while I was sanding. Do that one more time. I didn't get all the way up to the edge. I'll do that after I flip it over. But I want to get the underside of this. So there's that. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Super. And in about 20 minutes, I'll be able to flip this over and do the rest of it. It'll be great. I think. Okay, well that is one of the nice things about lacquer, at least sprayed on. It fingerprint hard, really quickly. Alright, so flipping this over. Just for protection purposes, I'm going to leave it on the wires at the bottom. The inside smells, but that's okay. There may be enough in this to finish. I'm hoping. Alright, so now it's, you know, what? It's just spray around, right? Try not to make a fool of myself. Just have enough to finish. I think that's it. The overspray's a bit much, but that's going to look beautiful. I'm not a shiny sort of guy, but there's something about this red bloodwood that just makes me want it to glow. Anyway, I'm liking that. I hope you are. I don't know how to say this. But it didn't work out. I got the coat of finish on that I want. I got it on just fine. But I got some, you know, some spots. A couple of little, they're small, but a couple of little runs. They're there. And a little sag down at the bottom. Like 2 or 3 spots. I don't know if you can catch that, but there is, just right there. So I'm gonna, a couple more runs right there, about 5. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna sand it again and give it another coat because it's easy enough to do, and this will be, you know, the only chance I ever have to make this even close to, you know, perfect. Close. Anyway, so I'm gonna sand. It won't take much. None of it's going to take much. The only thing it'll take is a little bit of time. So get the high spots, open the surface up a little bit. I have to sand the whole thing to get that to happen. Can you see that? I can see it plain as day. Right there. Anyway, so I'm going to sand, get it even closer. This is 400. It won't be fast. I mean, it's not like it cuts hard. But that's good, because that building the surface. Anyway, I'll do this for a while and bring it right back. It won't take long, maybe 10 minutes. We can do that. Okay, well this has got to be it. I think I've got it all the drips, every one. It was just kind of a study in drips. But I think we've got it. fresh can. This one's drip free. Excuse me. That's it. Done. Next time, we'll be at the house. Be great. Thanks for watching. So, brought this home. It's now in its, I think it's forever home. Obviously thrown some Harry Lauder's walking stick branches in here just for demonstration purposes, but we have the vase. This is long and tall and wide and shiny. That sixth coat of lacquer really worked. It's been spraying it on the last couple of coats, if you will recall, and they did really well. It's nice, it's shiny, it's well protected, and I'm really pleased. Obviously we're not going to put water in it. This will be for dry arrangements, but we've got plenty of those. And at the moment we're displaying this. Anyway, I wanted you to see it done, see it home, and it's, you know, what will be its forever home. Anyway, it's been a bit of a long project, but it got done. It got done sort of looking, you know, at this point it looks just like I thought it was always going to look. I could be kidding myself, but this is what I think, when I try to think back to what I was shooting for, this is what I was aiming at. So, it's done. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with me on it, and maybe get some different flowers. Something maybe that looks like it once was alive, rather than from some sort of Boris Karloff movie. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see ya.